Mr. Speaker, I truly want to thank Bonnie Watson-Coleman for hosting this special order to talk about the Equal Rights Amendment. And I can't think of anything that is more important than protecting the rights of half the population of America. We in Congress and in our country have helped other countries win their independence and craft their constitutions. And one of the things we work to place in that Constitution is equality of treatment for all people. We have seen that countries that treat women well have less terrorism, less turmoil, more economic stability, and that adds to the peace of the world. Yet we don't have the women in the Constitution of the United States of America. I think it's long past due, and it doesn't cost any money. It just is an equality statement in a Constitution giving protection to half the population. And I have come to this Congress and I reintroduced the Equal Rights Amendment. We know that it passed in the 70s. It fell 3 states short of ratification. You need 38 states, 35 ratified it. So it has already passed in this country before, and there is huge support. Currently, we have over 187 bipartisan co-sponsors that have joined Bonnie and me in this effort. Now, there's an old Chinese saying that women hold up half the sky. But what most women are concerned about is how they're treated while they're on the earth. We want to be treated fairly on the earth. And the exclusion of women, half the population, from the Constitution has dire consequences. Last month, we commemorated Equal Pay Day, or more appropriately, Unequal Pay Day, when the average woman's salary catches up with an average man's earning from the previous year. To put it simply, women have to work 3.5 months more than a male colleague doing the same job with the same pay to reach his equal pay. Now, I can say we've made progress. When I first entered the workforce, we were 59 cents to the dollar. We have made progress. We're now at 79 cents to the dollar. But economists say that if we continue at the same rate, it'll be year 2025 before anything near equality is reached in equality of pay. So, given that fact, the economic state of women in the United States is unequal, unfair, and unacceptable. If we want to ensure financial stability of American families and protect economic growth. It's very interesting, one study that was done by Heidi Hartman, who is an economist, a MacArthur award-winning economist. She stated that if you just paid women equally, you would eliminate half the poverty in the United States. So everybody talks about programs and job programs and everything else. Just pay women fairly, and you would eliminate half the poverty in our country. That's an easy way to address opportunity and fair treatment. This unfairness of 79 cents to the dollar, it is also much, much more unfair when it goes to women of color. The pay gap is even larger. And the pay gap has narrowed slightly over the years, but its impact is perhaps more detrimental today than ever before, because women are participating in the workforce in record numbers, and increasingly women are sometimes absolutely necessary for the income of the family, and some are single parents, as I am. I'm a widow. So when you treat a woman fairly, you're treating her husband fairly and her children fairly. And with more women in the workforce, because they have to work, bringing home a full, fair paycheck becomes more and more important. I recently asked the Joint Economic Committee Democratic staff to study the effects of the gender gap, and not just as the 79 cents to the dollar, but what does it mean over a lifetime? And this report, which was probably the most comprehensive, in-depth report on the subject to date, and it looked at the pay gap by age, race, state, and congressional districts. But what it showed that over the span of a lifetime, it compounded so that women are 75% more likely to live in poverty than in their old age than their male counterparts, because the unequal pay in the paycheck translates into lower pensions, lower Social Security, lower savings, and just less cash in the pocketbook. They say that in 1 year over the lifetime of a woman, the average is that you lose over $500,000 in pay. That's just the pay. Then you have to compound it into all of the savings aspects that all of us rely on in our older age. We found that the gender gap varies widely by race, age, and state. And working mothers, this is so interesting for a country that says we honor the family, we honor the mothers and the fathers. If you become a mother, and many economists have written the same thing, you pay a penalty in the form of depressed wages when compared to working fathers and women without children. So women that become mothers, the studies show that they're paid less. You call it the mommy penalty. Yet men that become fathers are paid more. Men that become fathers are paid not only more than women, but they are paid more than men without children. So it's interesting, and the statistics are that the men with children make 15% more than men without children, and significantly more than women. But over a career, this disparity widens for women, making them more likely to live in poverty. Older women are the largest segment of poverty in our country. Women cannot support their families or fully participate in the economy when they are consistently paid less than men doing comparable work. And this is bad for everyone. As you go through it, you wonder, why does the gender gap persist, and what can we do about it? In the past 30 years, the gender gap has been stuck at 79 cents to the dollar. Well, after controlling for the complex factors that contribute to the gender gap, which could be leaving work to take care of children, taking care of an elderly parent, or other reasons, there is a 40% gap, which many economists attribute to discrimination. And without the ERA, there is little to do. There is no recourse to fight gender discrimination when it does exist. The late Justice Antonin Scalia agreed and famously said, and I quote, "Certainly the Constitution does not require discrimination on the basis of sex. The only issue is whether it prohibits it, and it clearly doesn't," end quote. I believe that Justice Scalia, who Ruth Bader Ginsburg called her closest friend on the court, was doing the women's movement and those who care, like-minded men who care about women, a favor by making this crystal clear. He was a strict constitutionalist. He went by the Constitution, and his statement made it very clear. Women are not in the Constitution, therefore I, as a justice, and others would not protect them. So we need to correct this, and something that we could join hands and make happen. If we don't explicitly protect women in the Constitution, there can be no expectation for equality in the workforce, government, sports, or academia. And there is no remedy for discrimination against women in the court. There have been some celebrated Supreme Court decisions that the dissent has said that this will be reversed in later years, and I believe it will. But they decided against women on the point that women aren't in the Constitution. Well, let's change that. That's something we can do in this House, pass a bill that puts women in the Constitution of our great country. Leaving women out of the Constitution and legally defenseless harms all of us in other areas of our lives. The progress women have made can too easily be rolled back. Laws can be repealed. Judicial attitudes can shift. Something as fundamental as equality of opportunity and rights should not be at the whim of who's on the court, who's in the legislature, or any other law that could be put in place to roll rights back. I'd say that equality for women is a fundamental right that the vast majority of this country supports. I polled it once, and 99% of the people in America said yes, people should have equal rights. Yes, they should have equality of opportunity. Yet this fundamental aspect for half the population of America, and it's an important half of the population, every man had a mother. Women are there working in the home, in the society, in the communities. And as we help and support and empower women, we empower our country and we empower our economy. We can't compete and win in this world economy without using the strength of all of our people. And that means not just talented men, but talented women also. The Constitution already fully protects, 90% of the country actually thinks the Constitution already fully protects women, but because it seems like so much like a no-brainer. You know, if you asked anyone in this body, they'd say, of course, women should be treated equally. Of course, I want my daughters and my sons to have equal opportunity. Properly valuing women is the right thing to do for our daughters, sisters, mothers, and grandmothers. It's also the closest thing to a silver bullet to stimulate the economy. If you just paid women equally, you would move so much more money into the economy that would have to be consumed and spent in the economy. I want to really thank the like-minded men and women who support the opportunity for and the goal for women to be treated fairly. I believe this is an issue that we could all agree on. It is a fundamental right. I think that people believe in opportunity, and this is one way to make sure that all of our citizens have the same opportunity. I want to thank Bonnie for bringing this issue to the floor. She brings it to the floor once a month, and that shows a persistence and a commitment that I want to follow and I want to support, because I can't think of anything more important that we could spend our time on as a nation or as individuals than helping people have the equal treatment, the equal opportunity that they so justly deserve in this great country. I just want to close by saying I wake up every morning and I say a prayer and I kiss the ground and thank God that I was born an American. There's no question in my mind that we are the greatest country on earth. We treat our people the best. It's amazing. We just did a report that came out of the President's Office of Economic Advisors that shows that our economy is leading the world. The only thing that is hurting our economy is suffering other economies that are pulling us down. So we are a great country, but one of the reasons that we are so great is that we always strive to be better. And I can't think of doing anything more important or better than treating all of our citizens equally and allowing them to have the same equal opportunity under our great flag and under our great Constitution. It's long past due to put women in the Constitution. I hope my colleagues will join me in helping to make this dream of equality a reality in the great country of the United States of America. Thank you very much, and I yield back to Bonnie.
Thank you, and I want to thank the gentlelady from New York, and I welcome our partnership on this endeavor.